All right. Everything looks good. We can go ahead and get started here. So, where did we leave off? Let me go ahead and turn off FPS. All right. How are we on funds? Let me go ahead and prestige up here. We have guns. How much money do we got? We got a decent amount. Not a whole lot, but a decent amount. Did we do any upgrades before I quit last time? I don't think so, right? Not sure if we were there yet or not. Hey, game shift. Like, we're mainly looking for this. We're looking for machine parts. I think people were saying it's the first two maps. Like, you have to do Tunnels A, or like you have to do, like, Mesa or Scorched Enclave to find it. So I guess it's just grinding that. I think Scorched Enclave might be better for this, though. I have a decent amount of water, but not a ton. As long as we quest on Enclave, it should be fine. We can offset the cost. You don't give me water back, so that quest sucks. You do Pyro. Hey, Lewis. Hey, Hanzo. You're a free RPK and lots of experience, but I don't think you're worth it. We're really just trying to offset the cost of our entry fee here. Sure. Hey, Duffs. That's the same as water if we get 2 explosives, so sure, why not? Anything else? Hey, Flip. We have room for one more quest. I think the people who are overreacting, Lewis, are... I think there are too many people overreacting. I believe there might be some reading comprehension issues going on, to be quite frank. When someone gives you a forthcoming disclaimer that, hey, we're gonna try something out, there might be adverse effects, but we're going to monitor them and try to fix them if there are, you shouldn't take that as a sign to freak the fuck out and be like, my performance is gonna go to shit. Just fucking breathe for a goddamn second and see what happens. So Hanzo, in the next patch, they're gonna be compressing the game files with an algorithm, and part of compression is they have to uncompress the files. Typically speaking, compression is a very normal part of game development, and like it's why file sizes for games are small. So like, to give you an example, like the game is going from 122 to around at least, like, it's gonna be somewhere in the ballpark around 50 gigs, give or take 10 gigs probably. The private oh my god, English is hard. The private branch is 50 gigs now, as opposed to 122. Yeah, it takes a second, Duff, for it to pop up. It's everything's set up for that, Duff, so it just takes a second. I gotta wait for chat or Caster Labs to pick it up. It just takes a second. It is unfortunately not instant. Sounds both good. It's more than halved, Lewis. Granted, we don't know exactly what the final result will be. So we'll just have to see. So that's the private branch, and the private branch has some stuff on it that might not be shipped to live, so it might be smaller than what it actually is. So we'll just have to see. And like, here's the thing. Fundog has had issues with communication in the past, I would say, about being forthcoming about changes. You should not, like, you should view this as a very good thing. You should respond positively to their aspect of communication so that, like, hey, they do this more in the future. This is like the exact thing they should be communicating. Like, if they don't want to do spoilers, sure, I get that, but like, making changes to the actual structure of the game, like, I think they should have done, like, I was on the, like, the side of, hey, you should probably talk about tunnels before it goes to live. Or, at the very least, when it goes to live, you do a dev vlog at the exact same day, talking about the intent with tunnels, what you're looking for, and things that might change in the future. So that we know what's happening. And sure, you could maybe view that as coddling at your player base, right? But, like, it's just communication. It's as simple as that. Yeah, like, there were so many people actually asking for a compression that you can't be angry at Fundog for actually doing it. And being like, hey, we're trying this out, we're gonna monitor to see adverse effects, but like, we're gonna try this compression algorithm out and see how it runs.
I don't have a good feeling.
Compression is nothing new in video games, by the way. Like, the reason why you don't see compression anymore is because developers kind of got lazy and they didn't need to do it. When storage space is cheap and when people have gigabit download speeds, you can get away with having your Call of Duties be 200 gigabytes of uncompressed textures. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's part of it. It should help with that too, Lewis, but that's just more in the sense of just like how UE5 is structured to some extent, having to do reads and writes, and just like, yeah, it should help. But like when you have a like 200 megabyte patch, and then you have like 50 gigabytes of writes, that's just how the file structure is. Did you guys get railgunned? Oh yeah, toothy. I was curious what was gonna aggro nearby, and apparently the answer was everything. Oh yeah, I forgot this skin exists. I entirely forgot that the aggro system currently works off proximity now to all units, not just that squad. Those assaulters are very tanky though too. You gotta be very careful about that. Those assaulters have a ton of HP. I actually, hold on here, I'm curious. Do I have a jump? Can I acquire a jump? This might be a better sniping mission as opposed to going into the actual pit. Though by sniping, I mean sniping with an RPK. Hold on. Aramaki, baby, please forgive me. He still doesn't forgive me. The UI here could probably use a little work. There's a lot of stuff to go through now. What's with money? There you go. There we go. I could do the SVD. I don't think I actually have, like, I don't think I have the actual mods for this at all yet, so it would be a giant pain doing anything with this. Yeah. So in exchange, I'll just do a sniper RPK. I need a optic that has a 4 times, or just the 3 times too. You should work. I'm assuming 3P should mean. Let's not assume that. Maybe let's assume it. Let's assume a 3P means 3 times magnification. Let's hopefully that's the case. I don't know it to be. I'm kind of getting this strange sense it's not actually the case. We'll find out though. My rig's fucked. We don't need a lot of space this run. I might need more ammo though. We'll just try it out and see how it goes. I don't know, Unicron. Yeah, Silva, so like, yeah, in older games, right, the way things, like, it's not even just older games, it's just like, typically speaking, it's a generalization, but it's still applicable even today. I don't want to say good game dev, but lots of game devs that usually rely on cheating to make things actually work. It's about, wait, did I not bring it? I bought the jump, but I didn't equip it. God damn it. Also, this is, yeah, 3 does not mean magnification. I have been lied to. The hell does the 3 fucking P mean? I'm sure this is like an off the market like optic, right? What the fuck does the 3P mean on this optic? Hey, Shooticron. Alright, we need to look for his ward. Or, yeah, his ward. I think it's the right. The ward is the one that's being defended, right? Or I guess hostages, rather. Hold on. You can just see how fucking tanky they are when it comes to body shots. Go, you kill steal. I can't. Okay, got it. So tanky. Alright, we need to find the Ureska commander.
All signs point to death here.
Yeah, Marauders is a really cool game, but Marauders kind of shows you the issues of, like, if you don't account for degeneracy in the player base, like... I feel like when you design a PvP game, you have to, like, design around people being absolute degenerates, and not giving them the option to do so. Is he dead? Like, brother, where's your protectee? I guess there was an Exo down here, right? So maybe the Exo got him. But like, yeah, the whole fact that the game had too many choke points, that it was too easy to camp in, and like, I mentioned this on my other video, right, about Arc Raiders, but like, the reason why Customs works as a map pre-factory expansion is that the choke points are not choke points where you can easily camp them and not be exposed to like 5 million angles. That's why Customs works, right? Because like the actual choke points just mean areas where you could potentially run into a player by accident and they run into you by accident. By and large, you cannot really camp the choke points on Customs unless you can kind of do it, but you're usually doing it in a very niche way where like you can only see a fragment of the choke point. You can't see all of it because you're having to like go into some weird position to not be exposed from every angle under the sun. Which means people can run by you and you not even see them or be aware of them, so. But the problem with Marauders, right, is every single choke point was like pretty defensible and it just all fell apart. Nice, Bob. I need one more explosive. I also need machine parts. Oh, hey, a pilot. I don't need you though. All right, machine parts. Bless me. Yeah, you could see when people were going in and going out too, and then you could camp. You could like have ships camping outside, and also just like the instant breaching too of like people who would just like instantly leave their ship and breach other ships. Felt kind of degenerate. Like there was like it kind of made me very sad how much like potential for ship combat there was in that game that they just didn't explore. Granted, I'm sure they were like a very small dev team. It definitely like kind of felt like that. Like it was like a dozen people at most. At absolute most. But it was a cool aesthetic though, it's just kind of sad that it fell apart. Hey Ganfer. I am curious how like Arc Raiders is gonna turn out. Like the Marauder keys Raider keys are a cool concept, but like I feel like the players who need access to those most of the casuals, but like I guess in the sense of like, I don't know. It conceptually works, I guess. It depends on if you're casual in regards to gameplay, but you're a hardcore gamer, it doesn't do a lot for you because you probably want to play for more than like an hour or a raid. And you only get one of those keys basically, and you don't progress a lot because you're a more casual player. But like, if you're truly like a casual and you might have enough to play like 1 or 2 raids a day, hold on, Mr. Gibbs. 1 or 2 raids a day, like that's probably perfect for you because you can like usually use a key for like almost all of your raids, if not like half of them. You're only playing for like 30, 40 minutes, like an hour a day. Mr. Grizz, I just put it in my pocket. Like it was like what, 8K, 9K credits, which is not that expensive. I thought it was pretty cheap actually, considering it basically gave you a free extract. And like, if you went to a POI and looted quickly and then left with the Raider key, you would easily make your money back, if not like way more than your money back. I don't know. Like I mean, granted, I would say I don't want to gloat, but I'm saying I'm pretty like in all of. I played between 12 and 15 raids, and I only did an extract out of like maybe 2 of them. So like I had no qualms at all. I need one more explosive game. How is this being a thing right now? I never had an issue where like it felt like it wasn't worth it to have a Raider key on me. Like sure, I could use a regular extract, and it wasn't an issue, but it also at the same time too, just having that extra level of security. Like I'm carrying like 50K worth of credits out. I'm happy to spend 10K of that on like essentially making sure I get out alive.
Running is always an option.
Yeah, if you wanted to do PvP, right, you don't need a Raider key. But for the, I'm more mentioning for the people who are risk adverse or don't PvP adverse, like it seems like a perfectly fine option for them, really. Like the only area where I can see the person being kind of punished is if they're like a casual gamer in regards to like how they play, but they actually play a lot of games. That's the only scenario I can actually see it hurting them. Being a daily timer, that is. I wonder what HK I got. I'm not being shot at right now, which is kind of... I should leave before the Exo dies. Get me the fuck out of here. Leave me the fuck alone. Alright, we're good. Yeah, I think when you install it, Levi, it like defaults for what's it called? It defaults public when it should default private. Once you set it to private, it saves it as private forever. Machine, I don't think so. This team is too small and too inexperienced, I would say, to actually make a PvP game. Like, just literally look at Marauders. You can, and to some extent the Cycle Frontier, to be honest, too. You have two PvP extraction shooters who have failed utterly because they leaned into PvP when they didn't really have the means of accommodating that. I mean, Helldivers seems to be doing pretty well still. And also, there's plenty of PvP games that are basically dead also, because they rely on PvP for their gameplay. Like, when people make Steam charts comparisons, no one plays Hell, only cheaters. What? It feels like you're making some very wild arguments right now. I'm not sure if this is just, it feels like bait. Helldivers is this game. If it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. That's perfectly all fine and well. But that doesn't mean you need to like decry, like, it doesn't have PvP. It's an ass game. It just means it's not for you, man. That's perfectly fine and well. Anyway. All right. So we didn't find machine parts yet, I think, right? Would you consider Baldur's Gate 3? Like, a cult following? Like, I'm not really sure. Yeah, this feels like, yeah, this is bait. Alright, I gave you a 30-minute timeout. Maybe you can take that time out to think about how you might be on a cup of tea argument right now. It's all perfectly fine and well if you don't like something. It's not for you, that's okay. But I think there's plenty of examples, right, of games that are not strictly PvP and having long lifespans. For example, Skyrim. Skyrim's done so well over the span of times, it's had like 25 million remakes with no PvP. All right, we're looking for machine parts still. I guess we'll do Mesa now. Yeah, it was just a bait. It is what it is. I kind of figured making an Art Graders videos might cause this, but it is what it is. I've actually have not had to ban anyone before in chat, so I'm very curious if we're gonna cross that threshold now. Yeah, I would say just don't get too upset in chat. It was just bait. The second he refuted the cup of tea argument, it was very clear he was just trolling and baiting. All right, any more quests for Mesa? We can do Hidden Water. Yeah, I mean, both can ruin games. Like, that's like the main thing about... I'm working on another video that's gonna be more generalized video, and I'm hoping to get it done hopefully this weekend, or not the video, sorry, the script for the video. The recording might take a while for it because it's gonna be probably a mishmash. Anyway, the PvP, like, I don't think inherently PvP is bad, but it requires a different skill set and a different design consideration, right? And like, it works in Arc Raiders, but it definitely does feel tacked on, right? There's not a whole lot of systems that kind of tie into like the actual game and also have to do with PvP. So it feels a bit weird. And maybe we'll see actual systems on launch. Maybe they just didn't show us them. But it feels like if they really wanted to lean into the PvP a bit more as a tenet of the game, or just like not in the background, they could have done a few more systems with it. I could kill you, yeah. If you live. He does die a lot. So, Gertis, right now, like, for example, an example of a system that influences PvP, like, for the most part, the way I've played, just play around, Ivan. I've played a lot of different extraction shooters, and it always usually ends up being the case you were better to be the aggressor as opposed to trusting anyone, right? Just because, like, the risk versus reward, right? There is not really any reward for trusting them. So you're better off shooting and asking questions later. Tarkov mainly leaned into this in the sense that there's no system supporting it, except for their scav system, right? That's kind of the scavenger reputation system is an example of like tying in incentives to PvP and extraction shooters, right? For those of you unfamiliar, scavengers, they didn't want scavengers killing each other constantly because that's kind of what it was originally. So they added in a scav rep system, right? And if you played, like, if you went onto your scavenger as a you know, Tarkov player and just started killing other scavengers, your reputation as a scavenger would plummet, and your ability to spawn as a scavenger would be slower and slower and slower and have worse and worse kits. And they also incentivize the opposite too, right? If you were a good scavenger and you did scavenger things like kill PMCs and not kill other scavengers and do other scavenger like related tasks, you would build up your scavenger rep to the point where you got better kits and you actually unlocked a trader with certain benefits, right? And so they basically did positive and negative reinforcement for basically doing PvP while you were a scavenger. And that's an example of a PvP system that can help influence the incentives of engaging or not engaging in PvP. Say for example, and the reason why is like the background lore of Arc Raiders, right, is that you are survivors under the surface after basically a robot apocalypse, essentially, and going to the surface is deadly. So it doesn't make a lot of sense if the goal for everyone is to support this city and live underground, why you would fight each other on the surface. And they added PvP in, but they didn't really add any, like, at least what I can tell thus far, justifications for the cutthroat nature of other survivors on the surface. Outside of just, you know, hey, I want your stuff so I can go back and get more rep than you, I guess, or make myself look more important. Which, in my opinion, is very weak. The teaming, you can team up in Tarkov too, right? But like, that's like the team up support, I mean, it's there, right? But like, it doesn't change the fact in the sense of, like, there's no repercussions for you being an asshole, right? There's no meta repercussions. There's no support on a systemic basis for you to be or not be an asshole. They have reinforcement, or like they have quality of, what you're describing is quality of life, Gertis, not, I would think, systems that support it natively or incentivize it, right? They make it easier to do, but they don't change the incentive structure. And so, like, I think, we'll see, because there could be a cultural thing too, right? I would say that I don't expect that to be the case, because by and large, every extraction shooter's had this issue of like it just devolves into, just like DayZ too, right? Like, you know, there's occasional instances in DayZ where you'll have people communicate and role playing, all that good stuff, but by and large, DayZ is kill on sight. All you had was pretzels? You piece of shit. So, like, it felt like you can kind of see it too, right? For example, I can't remember what, there was some lore thing that happened too, right? Where it felt like they were just, I can't remember the exact thing that made me thinking this way. I'll have to go recall, or maybe I'll recall it halfway through. There was something they did with the lore in Arc Raiders where it felt like the writers kind of threw up their hands and were like, yeah, apparently it's a PvP fucking game now, so just we're gonna shoot this in. Like, from like having done amateur writing before, like it definitely felt like a moment where like, or doing amateur world building, like lore building too. It definitely felt like a moment where, like, you know, you were told an exterior like motivation and you had to change your lore on the spot to accommodate that, and it felt like a hand wave, right? Like in the sense of, yep, that's just the way how it is now. So it just felt like, as opposed to justifying it in a lore perspective, they kind of just said it, that's just the way it is. I can't remember exactly what made me feel that way though. Maybe I'll recall. But like, for an example, right, if they really truly wanted to support PvP from like a lore or like systemic perspective, they could have done things like factions. So say for example, you have like the core faction of Arc Raiders being like, hey, we're trying to, like, you know, fight the robots on the surface and reclaim our homeland, or, you know, do the Prestige project. And an alternate, you know, faction could be the faction of like, we want to do X, Y, and Z. We want to repurpose the robots. I don't know. Do they want to do something else? They want to do something contrary or antagonistic to the other faction. And then you could have like a third faction of that, like essentially outlaws. You could do systemic things like that to actually make PvP make sense in your setting. And like, you could see that, right, in a sense of like, oh, there's not just one underground city, there's multiple underground cities. And they're not like, they're not like cutthroat against each other, but they have different solutions to the problem on the surface. So when they meet on the surface, it's a tenuous relationship. And naturally, when you have, and essentially it would create a system of like almost teams in a way. And the only problem is like, you would basically need to have like the third team basically be outlaws of either. Oh my god, leave me alone. Fucking drones. Yeah, and like that's a systemic way of kind of supporting the sense of like, hey, and also like create scenarios too, right, where you give some replayability to like prestiging players where they can join different factions. Or try different playstyles or meta playstyles. Granted, this balloons in complexity and depth, I will say, I will admit. But if you're trying to like actually, I feel like justify why you turn a PvE game into a PvP game, the first thing is like, hey, like what, like why are they fighting? Yeah, Mr. Grooves, I would say in the sense it wouldn't go too deep in regards to that. It would mainly just more in the sense be, in a way, fluff to support, like, the lore of, like, you know, PvP. It wouldn't need to be very deep. It is literally just there to be, like, on a way, a level of fluff. And a way, for example, too, Mr. Grooves, of like having scenarios where, hey, this person on the surface you're not grouped with, but they're of your same faction, right? So you might have a reason, like incentive structure reason to actually group with them or be friendly to them, right? because there could be like, you know, issues, for example, of like actually doing PvP against your faction. You could probably do it if you want. I wouldn't disallow it in a system, right? But like that would be how you would join the third faction, right? If you are too much of a dick to everyone, including your own faction, you become part of the third faction. And the third faction only serves as a way of like, hey, you're in timeout. You need to find a way to join back the other factions, or you're kind of cut off from everyone else.
Full of bad people.
But yeah, it wouldn't be deep enough in the sense of where you actually have faction versus faction. It's more of just fluff support and a very high level support for like having essentially teams or incentive structures for the actual PvP on the surface. And it wouldn't go deeper than that for the exact reasons you mentioned, right? It doesn't need to go as deep as like, hey, you know, we have like faction progression, and it's like meta side PvP basically, right? Where you do have that gamification. Yeah, there's the traps too of like one faction being really popular and everyone joining it. But like, I think that's the neat part of like having a third faction that you can only join through like being a bandit basically. And then not disallowing PvP inter-faction too. All it basically is supposed to do is essentially A, provide fluff, and B, provide a very high level system for incentive structures. All right, let's get at it. I don't think we found what we needed here, but you know, whatever. We'll get our whatever we need eventually.
Remember, we're already dead.
Because like that was a big thing, Silva, in regards to like classic WoW, is like there were so many different like. It's also the problem too of just guilds nowadays in MMOs of how much pre-planning they do. They'll pick out what server they join. They'll pick out like their plans. They'll do something like they'll do like a very no-lifey grind in the very beginning to get ahead of everyone else, and like it creates very skewed faction percentages on certain servers, and that was a huge issue in classic WoW. I'm not sure if it still is now, but like I know the server I played classic WoW on was like 80-20, 70-30, something very unhealthy. Did we get what we need? No. I guess just run it back, I guess. We gotta find our parts, and apparently this is the best spot for the parts. Yeah, you're pretty free. Killing lots of cyborgs. We're not doing Scorched Enclave. Sure, why not? That works. At least the other plus side with this is that we're getting plenty of water along the way. All right. Let's go rig. We're good there. 762. Do I need to buy some? I need to buy some probably. $500. And we'll pick up a few medkits. And that should be good. Let's start actually at City Ruins though. I would be surprised if they touch water again. I mean, if they were willing to, I have a whole system. There's no shot though. There's absolutely no shot. They kind of gave us their roadmap too in the anniversary video. I do not think that they're going to ever consider reworking water again. They'll probably add more outlets for it in regards to like spending water on things, but I don't think we'll actually see a water rework again. I kind of hope we or wish we did, but we're not gonna see. I think I should have brought some fucking drills, god damn it. No, we would just get a dog again. I've seen the dog HK twice in this new account. What the fuck? How unlucky. It doesn't... The biggest thing, right, is if they're trying to do something along the lines of making the game feel oppressive or... what's the right word? Not oppressive per se, but like actually like survival based. Doesn't really do that. Well, absolutely. I would say rather this system I think came from Nightmare. So like this is what they like. This is the system that they basically just threw their hands up and were like, all right, we'll give you what they want. So many fucking mechs fighting. God, I should have brought some fucking drills. I totally forgot about this. So much money right here I can't actually get access to. You know what I want? I want an offhand drill. I want a not equipment slot drill. I want a offhand weapon drill. Blue, I mean, so, okay, here's the thing. I feel like a lot of you guys, this is vast generalization, so I apologize. I feel like there's a focus too much on the symptom and not necessarily the cause. Or, so like, you guys are having issues with fast travel drones because you guys want to go run maps, especially the later maps. And yes, having more freely available fast travel drones or more easier locomotion through maps would allow you to run those later maps more. However, I don't feel like that's actually going, like, I don't think that's gonna make you feel better about it, basically, right? It's just gonna feel like you're being taxed. It doesn't feel immersive. It doesn't feel like it's doing anything for the game. It just feels like you're being taxed. Like, it doesn't feel like it's doing anything in regards to, like, helping the game out at all, or feeling like a game at all, right? It's just saying, to enter this map, you're going to be pre-taxed. That's all that does with the both the fast travel drone and the water. And just adding more water cost or changing the fast travel drone cost to a water cost doesn't do anything for me personally. The way I phrase the pain point to Fundog, the way I interpret everyone complaining about fast travel drone cost is not fast travel drone cost. It is people are spending too much time in tunnels. I like tunnels a lot, but in proportion to actual map gameplay, tunnels by and large take up too much time. Especially when you start factoring in the equation of later maps. Because, like, you know, if you think of Tunnels A and then, like, Ash and Mesa, right, it feels like 1-to-1, right? It doesn't feel too bad. But when you start thinking about, okay, so Tunnels A, B, C, and D, and then Downtown, right, you start having this very skewed equation of actual Tunnels gameplay, and then the actual map you're trying to play. And so the solution is something, it's not necessarily the solution is like, you could just literally make it where it's free again, right? That would balance out the equation. But if they're trying to maintain a certain kind of feeling of the game, right, all they need to do is keep in mind when they're doing their design or thinking of solutions is how do we keep the feeling that we want while making the balance between tunnels and the later maps feel a bit less oppressive or skewed in that one direction. And personally, the way I would structure it is I would have scavenger camps on the surface. So as opposed to constantly going back to the innards, I would say, let's say for example you take all of this time to go through tunnels A, B, C, and D, after a certain tunnel segment or after a map 2, you go to a scavenger camp, right? And when you're at that camp, you can run the maps of that level however much you want. There might be meta downsides for that, right? But it lets you run maps back to back without having to go to tunnels again. Yeah, but I don't have that particular issue, but like, I understand, like, yeah, I like tunnels a lot, but tunnels are very monotonous right now, and for people who don't like the vibes or the locomotion or the travel, or the movement of tunnels, I can understand right now, like, why it feels so out of whack. So, I feel like that's a stupid argument, because if anyone's willing to pay money for a PvE game, who gives a shit? Like, it doesn't affect anyone else. I also feel like you're a fool if you actually paid money for one, but like, it's you versus the game. There's no rush or competition. There's no clout to be gained from like, oh, like I was the first person after patch X, Y, and Z to do X, Y, and Z. Like, it's a PvE game, right? It's ultimately you versus the game. It's self-mastery. If you want to cheat in that, it's your own prerogative. Also, there's no anti-cheat. Why the fuck would you RMT? Go fucking talk to Toronto and get a fucking like a memory edit to just give you fast travel trodes. Yeah, like if someone RMTs in this game, you just got fucking scammed. I'm sorry. Well, no, yeah, like if you can't empathize with that, I mean, it's fine, but like I can very much, I like tunnels, don't get me wrong. I can empathize though with people who don't like it and feel like they're having to spend too much time in tunnels. And there's plenty of design space of still having tunnels, not nerfing tunnels, but giving the people who want to not constantly have to do tunnels to do anything, like alternate solutions or alternate ways, or just making the actual game a bit more fair in that capacity. I still don't think I actually have what I need here. I could go across the bridge, I guess. There's a few containers over there. It's also a good spot for your Asian Armed Forces, too. I genuinely really like tunnels. I can also understand people who don't. Because the primary challenge right now in tunnels is locomotion and, like, not getting exo-checked. Yeah, it becomes a balancing equation, right, of like figuring out who you're trying to appease, who you're not trying to appease, and like the people who like should be pleased but aren't for X, Y, and Z reason, right? There's like definitely an element, don't get me wrong, of like there will be some people who are like going to be like, you know, not your audience and you shouldn't try to appease them. But like, I don't think that the breaking point of that is tunnels. I'll give you guys a little insight. When I was talking to them 3 months ago about tunnels, when I was showing them my designs for it, which I don't think I can get into because of NDA reasons, I was like, hey, there has to be an outlet for people who just can't give a shit. I think that's good, Doomblade. I think the people who are being knee-jerk, like, doomer about it are fucking children, to be quite frank. I'm usually not this, reductionist or mean, but, like, I saw the post on Reddit, I'm just like, are you guys literally bitching about optimization? And, like, reducing the size of the game by, like, almost over half? Like, you will just find anything to complain about. Holy shit. Jeff put out a post that basically all it said was, hey, we're trying this out. We can't check for every scenario under the sun. There could be performance impacts. And we are monitoring it closely. And everyone on the fucking subreddit took it as literally, the sky is falling! Oh my god, my FPS! Like, are you fucking kidding me? This is why developers don't talk to you people. Are you on the... You're on the floor? Yeah, and Fisher, like, you're the exact scenario, right, where, like, it's probably gonna be more CPU related than GPU related, but, like, if you see performance impacts, go throw it in feedback or like reports. You might have issues. It's an early access game. I might have issues too. Who the fuck knows? I am CPU bound. If my computer gets hit with more CPU overhead, I might lose FPS, and I'll be like, hey, like, your update, I'm losing like 10% of my frames. It's part of early access. And here's the thing, like, I would be okay with people being upset if they weren't being forward about it, but they are. This is exactly what I wanted from them, so I'm very happy they're doing this. They are saying they are making change X with the intention of doing Y, and they are, you know, aware of potential issues like Z, and they're going to be looking out for them. And if you see those issues, let them know so they can try to diagnose them and fix them. Like, that is healthy communication. You're not giving the player base spoilers, you're just being forward to them about changes coming. That is insanely healthy, and that's what good communications to me is look like. Like, hey, you know, you tell them what you're doing, you give them the intent behind what you're doing, and then ask for feedback on it when it happens. I still feel like I don't have machine parts, but, you know, it is what it is. Got all the old accounts complaining about concrete foam and shit. The true struggle. Wiping your account and looking for fucking machine parts. I need 3 more? Yeah, 3 more. I would like to get this done too. All right, we're good. And we're going to the innards, not to the extract, or not to Tunnels Bay.
Well, we're still
My
here.
kingdom for machine parts.
Count something.
Bunko should be one of those traders that just sells various random things every reset. For like ludicrous prices. Monkeyman, you should be able to do it with a silencer from Aramaki. So, vendors, Aramaki, the PP19, and he will sell a suppressor that's gonna be like, looks like a small little thing here. Yeah, suppressor muzzle device A. And I believe this should go on it. Oh, it needs a barrel too. There's a barrel change on it too, I believe. It is not an easy process. So vendors, I don't think I have access to this yet. Parts, barrel. Yeah, I think you need barrel B. So I think if you have barrel B and then that particular suppressor I just showed you, you should be able to get a suppressor on it. I'll bring it though just to make sure I can actually do that. I believe that works. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. There's, I think the Yoruska Riders, I think they're called Riders, might be able to drop parts for you for the PP19. I'll bring a backup AK, just in case. All right, do we actually find our parts? We did not know. Let me actually bring some drills this time too, just in case we get lucky. Back to Mesa. Any quests? Sure. Yeah, the PP19 is weird though. Like a few of the I think most of the SMGs actually take the pistol suppressor, which is sold off Aramaki, and it's like one particular can. It's not like the rifle suppressors that are all, you know, together. We're not doing high nav comp. That seems like a very low price for what should be. I guess it can just die passively. Sure, why not? We won't try to kill it, but if we see it die, we'll pick it up.
Gotta keep a record in the event of my death.
It's usually not Fridays. They don't usually patch on Fridays. I think Nightmare was saying early next week. So like probably Tuesday, Wednesday next week, I imagine, Blade. I don't know like what exactly day, but like early next week. All right, so what's the over under on us getting a fucking dog HK after we get a codex? Hey, I'm watching something. Holy shit. You do way too much damage for something that doesn't even have a fucking modeled gun on you. What the absolute fuck? A casual like 1k damage burst. The fuck? Get some water.
Hey, watch my back.
That's a picture and a water map. We can come back later, I guess, for the metal parts. I'd rather get the, this out of the way first. All the monies. I'm not sure if the crates can actually despawn or not. I think they do over time. Alright, there's a container. Okay. Alright, that's drilling.
As long as I'm the last one standing.
Huh, interesting. I guess that will die first, getting shot by a tank, it looks like. Yeah, it is. Oh, they going back at it? Where the fuck did you come from? There's 3 of them? Or did only... Huh. Hey, I guess these 2 killed that one, yeah. This is a Eurusca. This is a Europa mech, not a Eurusca mech. I need you guys to stop killing, like, don't kill the tanks, kill each other. Alright, let's see if it's a dog or not. If I get a dog for the 3rd time, I feel like this new account's been cursed. Okay, cool, that's another guy dead. Don't mind me. Alright, what are you? Okay, thank God. The normal HK. It's... What the fuck are you? Huh. Whoa, 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 whoa. I kind of wish they didn't have that, like, weird... Maybe they can, like, turn it off when they die. So you can actually climb them, but they have the weird thing where you, like, bounce off of them if you actually, jump on them. Which makes sense if they're alive, so you don't ride them, but, like... Come on. Let us climb the dead guys. Alright. 2nd codex. Time to get the fuck out of here. I'm thinking cross bridge or bunker. Actually, we do need to kill a sniper, actually. Let's go over to the bunker. I'm kind of concerned if there's an exo at the extract, we kind of have to go back and leave. Because there's a chance the exo gets aggroed by the HK and then murders the shit out of us. Fuck monkey. All right, Mr. Sniper. Yeah, that tracks. He's already dead. That's fair. Fucking terrified of these drones. I probably prefer water. Alright, time to leave. Hello. Sir, you stop.
I think they spotted us.
Is that an orgamech? No, just a cyborg, okay. And out we go. Well, that's a casual, like, what, 1.3 mil? That solves a lot of money issues for a very long while. Now just machine parts. That's done. That's done. Let's go. Vendors. Sure, why not? Alright, money issues solved for the foreseeable future. Though I think we're still kind of screwed on the upgrades front. Sure, I'll get some TVs, because why not? Only one at a time? How long do you take? 30 minutes. Curse you, IRL timer. Alright, yep, still need machine parts, okay. Go ahead and prestige up. It's gonna be a while before this thing's actually appropriately leveled. It's gonna be a long while. Eisenberg. I think just run it back a few more times. I'm really just trying to get some fucking of those components. I mean, is Scorched Enclave better? It is much denser, I will say. Yeah, I heard it was either Scorched or Mesa, either or. But, like, I guess quick run-wise, like, running Scorched is usually the better option than Mesa. Mesa's a little bit slower. Alright.
Trying to carefully extract the good stuff.
So many pipes. Yeah, Survivor, the only, you know, I could see it being very devoid of enemies. I wouldn't want to say completely devoid. I wouldn't mind different types of enemies too. Hold on. There needs to be, like, encounters or challenges right in tunnels. Was that a hit? What is... There's something very so thoroughly weird about the RPK Eruska infantry. I swear to God, it feels like they have headshots. Also, you're seeing the actual downside of having not a silencer and also using an SMG and 9mm. The game doesn't want you to. But once again, there's something weird about the Eruska infantry and like doing just like a weird, insane, like sudden burst. It feels like they can headshot you. Like while no one else can. We've noticed this before too, like prior patches. It genuinely feels like they have some hidden like headshot multiplier sometimes. Yeah, I mean that's a critique almost of just like the spawn mechanics in general of On, is that they just do feel very rigid. Oh god damn it, and structured, like overly structured. They don't feel organic. They feel like very gamey and just like, yeah, it feels like the enemies clearly spawn within the tiles. They can't really move between tiles. They feel like, and they will die and respawn and then like despawn and all that weird stuff. It's very gamey. I didn't consent to nighttime Scorched Enclave. Oh, I do actually have squid ammo here.
Carefully extract the good stuff. Little them.
No, you pet the dog. I don't want to pet the dog. You pet the dog. Endless cyborgs. Anyway. Lots of plans and soap. Ooh, cool. Alright. Am I blind? I'm blind, aren't I? Am I still blind? There we go. I don't think so. I don't think soap's probably valuable. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good.
Just what I needed in my life. A reason.
Now, there's usually a dog patrolling this down section, but maybe not today. Maybe we got lucky. That's not great. Yeah, it was only a matter of time, though. Alright, no crate there. I mean, I feel like I'm due for some good luck, considering we've gotten the HJ grabber a few times on this account already, which feels kind of mean for a new account. More soap. Is the game trying to tell me something? Hey, I showered this morning, okay? Fuck you, game. Wait, did I just see dog? Is that... let me keep moving. Hey, I'll soap in the future as Irish Spring, okay? Anyway. Any containers? The way it seems to work too with the new items is that they're appended on any loot container. I guess not any non-enemy loot container. So like even ammo containers can have it. We just need to find some containers. Like it doesn't need to actually have containers. There we go. So after the actual ammo, we should see some actual, like, crafting stuff. Sheet metal, yeah, thanks, Gabe. Appreciate it. What? Leave me alone. I have used so much ammunition on you guys. There's more? Whoa, 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 whoa. No, you stay on your side of the fence, pal. Maybe they're worshiping me.
Keep your finger off the trigger. Too many hostiles.
Maskman, you're way too calm. This is fine. Wait a minute, this is normal. This is night shift. This is just hell. Alright, well, so let's hang out, guys. I'll see you guys later. I don't feel like we found what we needed there.
Hard run. At least we made it.
Yeah, almost assuredly not. Wait, I picked up 2 things of soap. What the hell? The game just stole my soap. Or did they get like condensed or stacked? What the hell? The game is a thief. All right, back to Aramaki. I guess we're going back to the AK. Because we just used all our RPK ammo, basically. All right, running it back for some machine parts. I'm kind of really happy that I know that these spawn the first 2 segments of the game. So I don't try going to later segments and not seeing it ever. Yeah, night shifts are exactly why, like, people are like, why do you bring 500 rounds constantly? Because you never know.
We should have chosen another exit.
You never know. And ammo is cheap, and it resets every hour. Why not just bring lots of ammo? Alright, you need to die. Alright, no containers here. Container here, container here. Stethos. The AI robots stocking these crates are on fucking crack. More toothpaste. Okay, I brushed my teeth this morning. Fuck you, game. First it was soap, now it's toothpaste. Wait, no, I'm dumb. Hold on, goddammit. I clicked the wrong thing. Yeah, there we go. Yes, yes, yes. Let's get through little stuff here. Alcoholic, I can get around that. Yeah, sure. Let's avoid the exo. Those spider webs? The hell? Of this game? I don't think it's wildly relevant. If you look at like any game, that's usually how it works. I got so excited by seeing an icon I didn't see before, and it just turned out to be bolts. Apparently you do need bolts though, so I'll take it. Hey George.
I think they spotted us. That's it for us.
Wood planks. Exactly what the doctor ordered. No. Alright, we're good. There should be one more spotter around here. Are you the spotter? No. You can die anyway. Alright. Containers, containers. There we go. My kingdom for... Nope, still down. Leave me alone. I said leave me alone, not try to murder me. Alright. Everything under the sun except for the one thing I need. Curse you, Gabe. Hey, blood. So many bolt cutters. Why are you... Leave me alone. Well, we know compression, right? I mean, considering last update was tunnels, and that was probably most of their throughput, or like most of their build-up, we're probably going to see, like, I imagine, probably lots of just like fixes and tuning to tunnels and shit like that. I don't think it's gonna be like a giant update. The giant update was tunnels, and like we're still on like the curtail of that. Not less files, but they're compressing the files. so that we're actually gonna have like a better, like a more appropriately sized game. All right, nope, yep, still looking. Come on, baby. Give me. God damn it. I'm never leaving Scorched Enclave again. It'll be like the good old days. The everyone's grinding Scorched Enclave forever days. Come on. You can do it, Gabe. Give me what I need. Free me from this torment. God damn it. Are they inside each other? Yeah, they're inside each other. Personally, bud, I would probably want to see other updates first. I think we're still probably in the unkillable, like, lull, or like, well, not, what's the right word for this? The unkillable sort of, like, we've had too many unkillables too recently. I would hope that we might get some more breathing room still. Alright, mister. I don't think I got one, but I'm gonna check anyway. Crafting. Nope. Alright, I'm gonna give machine parts one more try. And if we don't get machine parts, we're gonna go through tunnels and have some fun. We're gonna do the whole loop. We'll get some construction stuff for the other things while we're looking for machine parts. The tunnels update? Are you saying that the tunnels update was underwhelming? Really? Huh, to teach their own, I guess. Getting shot at. I feel like if you have the outlook that the tunnels update was underwhelming, is every update underwhelming for you? I mean, that's fair if they are. There's nothing wrong with that. But it feels like if you're well, at least to me, if the September update was underwhelming to you, it feels like every update was underwhelming. Please don't shoot me. Oh, of course it's fucking Toothy. Fuck you, Toothy. Toothy! Chill the fuck out. Wait. Yeah, you can use up Eldrins, yeah. But like, Zed, what do you have a different patch for comparison's sake that you want to say was that you were quite overwhelmed or like whelmed by? Essentially, what I'm trying to like point out here, Zed, is like, were you just upset that like you got really hyped for the patch and it wasn't that big for you personally? Or do you just view that every single patch you've had thus far is underwhelming? Which, once again, it's a perfectly fair take. There's nothing wrong with having that take. Basically what I'm getting at is like, is there something that was in prior patches that you really enjoyed that made that patch better for you than the tunnels patch? I mean, wait, last October? Are you referring to a patch from a year ago?
Fill those pockets quick.
I genuinely, wasn't that the patch we got in Cemetery? Personally, yeah, wasn't that the patch we got Cemetery? Personally, I would rather have tunnels in Cemetery.
Extract the good stuff.
Well, Azid, if that's your outlook, I would say that, like, considering we're on the curtails of an actual, like, gameplay update in regards to, like, adding more gameplay content, this patch will probably be more fixed-focused.
Contact.
Fucking turret. You're not even... Come on. Come on. There we go. Yeah, do keep in mind for context, well, at least according to the historians, I wasn't around for this, but at least pre-launch I heard that, like, Fundog had to be dragged kicking and screaming to actually do patch notes. Once again, I have no first-hand basis of this, so this could be wrong, but I've heard anecdotally that, like, they had to begrudgingly be told to do patch notes. So, like, there's cases where, like, they might be doing things that they don't put out. But, like, anyway, I understand your viewpoint that if you're more focused on bespoke content and stuff like that, how Tunnels was, like, not great for you. I do think, considering the size of their company, you cannot focus on endless bespoke content and ever expect to keep up remotely with consumption. And, like, that's kind of a core tenet, sort of, of, if you're not going to have bigger maps with more gameplay, you have to find something to actually add to gameplay and make, like, I don't want to get very nitty-gritty into right now about, like, extraction shooters and how they work. But if you're gonna call your game one and lean into the style, there's lots of design considerations you have to do. Like, for example, giving me my goddamn machine parts game. What the fuck? Anyway. Like, part of the intensity of extraction shooters, right, is having long gameplay loops that introduce the fear of loss while you're playing the game. And when all of your maps can be played in 5 minutes, you have a fundamental problem with your game if you're trying to actually have it be an extraction shooter. I mean, Zed, like, it sounds like you might be getting gassed out from the monthly updates where, like, and that's fair. I've been there for a while now. I've been on team stop doing monthly updates for a fucking while. But they're gonna do what they're gonna do. It will be whatever it will be. Leave me alone. I just want machine parts. Is it that much to ask? Are you machine parts? Wait, what do you mean Discord dev blog is dead? They literally just posted it like fucking 2 days ago. What do you mean it's dead? They literally just posted. Brother, the dev blogs only existed for fucking like a month. Or sorry, like 2 months. Hold on here. We're gonna get some fuck. Actually, I don't have Discord open right now. I don't know. I don't want to default to an open page. That might be a DMs. The Discord dev blogs only existed for like maybe 3 months now. I think I've been pretty fair, Zed, so far, but I'm gonna give you some pretty solid pushback right now. The dev blogs only existed for like 3 to 4 months. I think 3 months. I think it got Miles created like 14th of August. So 2 months ago.
Pleasure, folks.
What kind of cadence do you expect a dev blog to have? Like every day, every week, every month? What is your expected cadence of a dev blog post? I think you're approaching slightly into unfair territory. Fucking goddamn it. God damn it, why can't I have machine parts? Alright, time for some tunnels. Or just some longer gameplay loops. We don't need to bring a lot of ammo here. I think we'll find ammo along the way. We will bring the PP-19 though, because I think tunnels is a pretty good leveling it up area. I mean, here's the thing though too. Like, when bigger companies have dev blogs also, like, it's not generally a monthly thing. Granted, their patch cadence is a lot slower too. The feedback is limping in Discord. What do you mean by limping? Listen. You know I've always been fair. I've been critical and I've been supportive. I like to take a balanced approach when it comes to my developer interactions or critiquing developers. Because if I'm not fair, why the fuck would they ever listen to me? But I do feel like you are just trying to find something to vent about right now, which is fair. Everyone gets in those moods once in a while. I understand where you're coming from. But it's important to note when you're in that kind of mood.
But the mask helps.
If you're feeling frustrated, I get it. Maybe put the game down for a bit and go play something else for a while. I do think people who like endlessly play this game ad nauseum as their like main game, I think that's ultimately unhealthy. You're just essentially waiting for burnout. I'm not saying that's you, Zed. I'm speaking generally in this particular instance. My kingdom for machine parts. I mean, if your case is that there's bugs that still exist from forever ago that still exist, yeah, that's the downside of having like a monthly patch cadence of them trying to develop a game and fix a game with this. Like, it is the downside of developing a game and supporting a game at the same time. It is the same trap of Tarkov. When you're having to do balance considerations or quality of life considerations while you're trying to get the scaffolding of your game into place with like limited resources, yeah, it's a constant push-pull. There are tons of things that, yeah, like they just don't get time to address because they're trying to create new content And they basically have had a developer, like one of their 3 actual factual coders or developers, stuck in the performance mines for basically a year now. Trust me, like, just wait until I get to Frozen Swamp and I find the fucking trees that they still have collision on. It's a push-pull, Zed, because they're having to manage a live game that they're actively relying upon for sales. So the community perception of the game is vastly important, and if they don't, they feel like, okay, this is, I don't know this to be the case. This is what it feels to me is the case. It feels to me that if they fear if they ever get off the treadmill of making new content for the game, like, they will see a direct turnaround in sales, basically, right? That they are heavily reliant upon. It is why, for example, like, one of the big focuses was performance, right? Because by and large, you want to know what people bitched about in performance overall, or sorry, in reviews overall, was performance. And one of the other common trends, like, over the periods of time, right, was, why does this game take up so much storage space? Yeah, well, it's been a common trend in this game since launch, basically. It wasn't, like, the biggest thing, but the developers have been, like, in one of their earliest Q&As, right, they mentioned that, like, the size of the game, and how, like, they're trying to keep it down, and how, like, they're constrained on what they can add because they're trying to keep the size of the game down. And so, this is, A, allowing them to appease the players who have negative reviews of this game is too big, while also giving them more space to actually add more assets to the game. Yeah, Cyber, but remember, like, back in the day, too, when your, like, internet speed was, like, 64K? Or, like, 128 if you were lucky? And so even a game of that size would take fucking forever. Blue, the current size of the game is like 120 gigs. And they're, in this patch, they're reducing it into the ballpark of like 50. I mean, Cyber, yes, but I downloaded demos for both. I downloaded the demo for the original Stronghold off, like, what, I can't remember what website, it was like 3 something. But like, no, I downloaded the original demo of Stronghold, like the OG Stronghold, off the internet. Took fucking forever. Took like 6 hours, but I did it. I mean, that's the thing though with monthly patches though too, right? It's all gonna be small, right? You can't expect all that much in regards to content when they're doing monthly releases. Thankfully, I think they were working on tunnels for a while on the back end. They just didn't have it in the live build, but yeah, or the private build. All right, Mesa, give me what I need. I should probably use my 9mm when I'm in the sewers, just because it doesn't really matter with aggro at all.
Hard to breathe up here.
Yeah, I mean, here's the like. Yes and no. It's good that they're using compression. By and large, most games use compression, and you should. compression algorithms by and large are efficient enough where you really should not notice them. And Jeff's dev blog post was them just being considerate that there's edge cases they can't test for. And there are some people who are like scraping by to run this game because they really want to play it, but they're running it on archaic machinery. Wait, is either you're referring to me or someone else in chat? Because I think you might be misunderstanding if you're talking to me, but I'm not. I don't think you're talking to me because that doesn't make any sense if you're talking to me. Oh yeah, there's a dog here. I forgot about the dog here. Ruh-roh. I don't feel very safe right now. I want to see if there's any loot in there, but yeah, I'm not gonna fuck with the dog actually. Yeah, Cyber, it's just because, like, for the most part, storage is cheap, and game developers only really do stuff like that when they have to, because they have other considerations, right? When you're on a time crunch, right, like so many game developers are nowadays, optimization like that when storage space is cheap usually isn't like the most pressing thing in the world. If more gamers, okay, here's the thing. If gamers started actually voting with their wallets like they probably should be doing, developers would care about it more. But by and large, the people who buy COD don't give a shit. The people who buy Battlefield don't give a shit. Generally, console gamers on a whole don't genuinely give a shit. You know what console gamers do when they don't have space? They just uninstall a game they don't play and install the game they want to play. They don't usually have vast reserves of like time or money or actual care to have like a giant portfolio of games they can choose and pick from at their leisure of what they want to play. They're by and large like very, I don't want to say flaky, but like seasonal gamers. Like they're gonna move to the next title and play the next thing and then move on. By and large, there's only a few titles they actually stick to.
As long as I'm the last one.
But no, by and large, yeah, companies aren't gonna care unless you make them care with your wallet. And like, it is kind of the thing too, right? The tragedy of the commons where, you know, it's not exactly tragedy of the commons, but it can be equivalent to tragedy of the commons, right? Where, you know, it's just everyone exploits a resource, or everyone kind of is like, so someone else will do it. Don't worry, someone else will be responsible and vote with their wallet, or like I'll be the exception to the rule. But then everyone does that, and so it all falls apart. Well, see, that's kind of the point I'm getting to at, right? In the sense of, it's not usually a pressing concern. Like before, right? You had technical like storage constraints, right? But storage is cheap now, right? And so like it's not like you know, our game is too big to fit on the console. They don't have to constrain themselves with that anymore, right? Like, or my game is too big to fit on the disc. Those were constraints they had to consider before, right? Not anymore. And if gamers actually voted with their wallets, and like if storage is an actual concern to the vast majority of gamers, they wouldn't buy your game then, and so you would start feeling the pressure to actually optimize your game. But by and large, consumers don't care, and so companies don't care. And to be perfectly fair, why, like, in a way, why should they? Like, if their prerogatives to make money, why would they not develop content to make money than waste time doing compression that it's very clear that consumers don't give a shit about?
Remember, we're already dead.
You know, there's been some instances, I went to go through, not through the tunnel so well. There's been some instances, right, of like, hey, like Battlefield 6 is too like arcadey or too Call of Duty, right? But like if EA sees that Battlefield 6 sold really fucking well, you know what they're gonna listen to? The people buying their game in droves. They're gonna be like, you know, people are saying X, Y, and Z, but people are really resonating money-wise with actually the gameplay loop we have here. I guess we'll just start it. Wait, how many? I have one fast travel drone. Maybe let's not use the drone and go to Tunnel B. We'll just go the slow way through. We'll bring like 200 rounds again. And then lots of 9mm. Oh, Blue. I have bad news, Blue. If you're referring to the Vector in game in Forever Winter, I have some very unfortunate news for you. That's not a suppressor. I've had to do this a few times on the stream, and I've always enjoyed it. I get to explain American gun laws to people, or American, not even gun laws. I get to explain tactical to people, not tactical, tactical. So the Vector modeled in game is based off the civilian Vector of the US market, and part of the civilian market is that there are short barrel rifle laws. Your barrel has to be, I believe, at least 16 and a half inches. I think it's 16 inches, to comply with ATF laws. Otherwise you need a special permit. Which usually means your gun costs more because people need permits to buy your guns, and the permits cost money. So it means your gun will have overall less sales. And so companies will make civilian variants of their firearms that meet this minimum requirement of 16-inch barrels. But when you have PDWs, right, when you have SMGs, you have kind of the issue where they're usually made with like 4-5 inch barrels. And so when they, you know, have very long barrels, they start looking very weird. Go look up the civilian P90. It looks like a fucking meme. And so the Vector had to do the same thing if they wanted to release a civilian variant of their gun that complied with SBR laws. And so they did, but as opposed to having the really fucking goofy, long-ass barrel sticking out of their gun, and not doing a silencer because that introduces a new ATF issue, what they did is they put a shroud over their barrel that looks like a suppressor, that looks like an Osprey. It's not an Osprey, it doesn't do anything, it's not even a muzzle device, it's literally just a shroud over the barrel to A, make sure you don't touch the barrel when it's hot, but B, to not look lame, basically. And that's the Vector we have in game currently, is it's the civilian Vector with a barrel shroud. I know it looks like a suppressor, but it's not actually a suppressor. And it's also why, for example, too, when you do equip a suppressor now to the Vector, it goes in front of the barrel shroud. But yes, welcome to American gun laws. Yes, actually, Alice, I wasn't aware, but by and large, it just, you know, it's not relevant to the current conversation of why the gun looks like it is currently. It doesn't in fact change the fact we have a civilian Vector in the game, and it has a barrel shroud. No, yeah, the civilian, if you've never seen the civilian P90, go Google it, it looks very funny. And that's exactly why Vector put a shroud on their gun. See, I wanna fucking drones, man. Drones ruin everything. So the problem with drones is they don't have weak spots, so you don't, like... 9mm really requires you to hit weak spots to actually not be absolute ass. And drones don't have any. So, yeah. Generally means that just don't fucking shoot drones with SMGs. But no, like, Blue, there was lots of people who would just factually incorrectly say or complain about the Vector being a bug and like, when are they gonna fix integrated suppressors? I was like, come on, at least do some research on why it's not suppressed. Like, at least just... I'm not blaming you, Gerda, but it was just like lots of people in the Discord got really annoying being guntists. And just, like, being actually factually wrong about what they're fucking saying. So not you, but just... I don't know, I get fucking triggered by those guys. Like... just... yeah, the gun posts on Discord get me going, man. Why doesn't this game have a very rare variant of a rifle made in okay, I'm sorry if you watched the stream, I'm gonna apologize. The game doesn't need a fucking Fedorov. Like, please. Just go play Battlefield 1. It belongs in that, like, well, it doesn't even belong in that game, but it belongs in that game more than this game. Also, the goddamn fucking floating staircase. Like, the game doesn't need every single fucking niche game, like, gun under the fucking sun, just because Jesus has a video on it. Like, we don't need a fucking Fedorov. We don't need a gun from the 1940s. That's mainly wooden stock. Yes, like, by and large, I have my issues with Arc Raiders, but I very much appreciate the fact that like their guns are just their guns. It is, coming from this game to that game, it is so thoroughly refreshing. The guns feel different, they have their own quirks, they're balanced with somewhat appropriately, it feels like. It was very refreshing to play a game with like actual non-homogenized guns. Alright, so sniper, we'll loot here too, but we want to go through the tunnels. Unless we find machine parts. So we find machine parts, we're leaving. I'm curious, I know that Arc Raiders uses UE5. Does the Finals use UE5 too? Yeah, what engine does the Finals use? Is it actually UE5? Or is it a bespoke engine? Usually, like, when you have, like, certain things like that level of destruction, usually it's, like, bespoke stuff. When you're trying to do, like, very niche things like that, like full level destruction. Oh, neat. Honestly, like, the one thing I'm hopeful for is that, like, I am actually kind of excited to see, or rather, I'm excited they have a UE5 game that actually performs really well, because it's just like, I think the knee-jerk of UE5 bad slop is just kind of overplayed at this point. Every engine has growing pains when it first comes out. Now, is Epic to blame somewhat? Absolutely. Epic oversold their engine too quickly and pushed it out way too early, promising too much. It's normal Epic shit, like 100%. But like, the growing pains of the engine is what the same thing that UE4 went through, right? And it just takes time to mature. Yeah, and so it's like, that's the key thing. Like, I want, like, it will be nice to be like, hey, like, UE5 might be hard to work with, who knows? I can't say if it's hard to work with or not from, like, a comparison perspective, right? But, like, it clearly shows that when you do your work on it, it can perform well. Like, Embark has clearly shown that. Like, the game, like, Arc runs really well. I had no, like, stuttering or issues at all with FPS or, like, anything weird like streaming textures and stuff like that, or pop-in. Like, that's usually, like, the key hallmark I'll know a game is in UE5 is I see pop-in. Like, just instantly, I know it's UE5. Stalker 2? Oh god, so much pop-in. I haven't played it recently, though. Maybe they mostly fixed that. I'll have to play it again eventually soon. Though I'm not a big fan of the story. And then, like, no networking issues at all. Like, networking-wise, it felt good. I haven't played Battlefield 6 since, like, the beta. I didn't actually buy it. But, like, there were, like, clear issues, at least in Battlefield 6, where it felt like like, not all the time, but some of the time, the hit reg was off. Maybe it was just code for me being bad that day, maybe. But, like, there were periods of time where, like, Battlefield 6 feels very hit or miss with its hit reg. And I never experienced that in Arc at all. Like, everything felt like, even when I was getting, like, notifications of, like, either jitter or packet loss or whatever it was on the right-hand side, like, everything felt like it was running smooth. Who wants to see Maskman crash out? Jesus fucking dude, my god. Blue, if you're not on the Discord, there is an LFG chat on the Discord that's basically just just like open to everyone now. It used to be behind the a check wall to make sure you get the game, but I believe anyone can just join it now. So there is the LFG on Discord if you're not on the Discord for the game. I think it's just the model. I think it's like I don't know infantry gets lower back, but like yeah, I think it's just the model of that particular one. No problem. Yeah, it makes sense. Like that's not a stealth kill. I'm kind of curious why you would use it, considering you do it from the back and you had to be sneaking to do it. I guess it's the cool factor. But yeah, I can understand why it's not a stealth kill.
Oh, this is what it's all for.
Thanks, Blue. All right, well, did not get lucky with machine parts, so let's go through the tunnels. That's some 2x4s though. Eternally cursed. Oh, that's back. I'm gonna shoot my hand off.
Don't miss. Make every shot count.
Alright, let's get out of here. There isn't a really fight these guys if I can help it. That's actually nice. I do like how the scramblers are not so fucking tanky now. I built the gun range. I haven't played my main account really, like I don't really play outside of streaming because, you know, burnout risks. So yeah, my main account's kind of in, I have the gun range, I don't have the personal quarters.
Finishing by the second.
But once again, I don't really, I'm not usually overly compelled to grind stuff out like that, right? I am by and large not a completionist. Where the fuck did you come from? Get me out of here. Fucking what's with all the sneaky exos, man?
That's our luck running
What the hell? No, but yeah, by and large, I'm not a completionist. If something feels optional, like I'll do it if I have the stuff available to me, if it just comes passively, but I usually will not go out of my way to do it. I would actually say, Cyber, you probably would be surprised with how many gamers aren't completionists. Yeah, it looks really cool, Van, and like I've seen pictures of it and I can actually see it on the test branch. So like I know what it looks like, but like by and large it's just like, yeah, it's cool, alright, yeah. It's novel. There's a benefit potentially for it that has an IRL time timer. I mean, I'll finish games, like, I'll finish the story of games, Cyber, right? Like, I'm a completionist in the sense that I'll finish a game of, like, its, like, story loop or something like that, or, like, its narrative. But, like, if there is, like, optional achievements or, like, things like collectibles, I am not doing that. Like, sorry, Assassin's Creed, I'm not collecting all your goddamn fucking feathers. Or sorry, just genuinely every Ubisoft game ever, I'm not doing your collectibles. Fuck off with that padding. I don't need your goddamn achievement. No, I just don't like burning through time like that. This is a cool area. I don't think I've seen the template like this before. Well, I don't think I've seen it like with this kind of skybox, rather. I will say, there's lots of different areas of the tunnels that kind of break the illusion, where like you'll be outside and like you'll kind of see like too much of the void. This is nice though. This is a good job of actually hiding the void pretty well. Or making it feel like you're in expansive tunnels as opposed to like floating in space. There's a few of like the tile sets currently where if you go to a spot like this, it can just like, it's very clear you're floating in space. But they hit it well there for sure. Alright, up we go. Are we trying to do anything here other than run through? We'll hit the loot room, I guess, and then head through. We'll just leave the backside of the hangar, I guess. We don't need a lot here. It doesn't, I would, not for $60, doggo. If it was like, if it was on, like, okay, here's the thing. If I ignore EA and the recent acquisition of EA by certain companies, I would probably still have EA play, and if it was on that, I would play it. But I don't think I would spend lots of money to play a game I would really only, like, grind in multiplayer, like, maybe a couple times a week at most. Like, it looks fun, don't get me wrong, but it, like, I'm not sure if I would spend $60 to, like, grind a game for, like, a couple weeks and then kind of never play it again. I would rather go play BF1 as opposed to BF6. I don't think BF6 is bad, but like it's not in my opinion worthy of 60 of my dollars. Leave me alone. I just want to loot and leave. I'm doing nothing to you. I'm kind of curious too, like how the lasting power of BF6 will be. I've heard, I'm not sure how much of this is just people complaining. I cannot really speak to my opinion of this, or speak to this all that much, but I am curious, like, if Battlefield 6 feels a lot more like a hybrid between Call of Duty and Battlefield, will it have the same staying power as the popular Battlefield titles? Probably. That's just stamina. I would say, I don't know, actually. Someone else has to answer that. I mean, it's just a more modern game, first and foremost, Mr. Doggo. So just better fidelity, better, like, or more up-to-date gunplay in regards to what people prefer, I guess. It's the latest and greatest. An actual player-based Doggo might be one of them, too. I think 3 and 4 probably still played a bit. I know 1 was for the longest time, because one's a very good game. One's like a very, yeah, I like 1 a lot. Alright, time to leave. I mean, we're basically getting pretty full too, so we can be pretty picky about our loot now. But I can't really speak to like what it has over. I mean, it's been a long while since I've played 3. It's been a long while since I played 3. I would say if I recall how 3 felt, Battlefield 6, the gunplay technically feels crisper when there isn't some weird hit reg stuff. At least what I remember from the playtest and the beta, right? I can't speak to live. Like, BF3 was good, but BF3 I remember always being a clusterfuck, probably because of Metro, right?
Wake up, rinse and repeat.
There's Caspian Border 2, which I'm trying to think of, like... Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I can't really speak on why BF6 is different from the 3 or 4. Just newer. I'll tell you, by and large, there's critiques that 6 does not feel like a Battlefield game, but I can't speak to it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's usually why I stick to indie games too, for the most part, or like AA games. Like, typically speaking, I genuinely try to state it with novel games nowadays, or games that are doing something like unique or interesting or new. Like, I've been like constantly on the fence of like getting Hades 2, but I'm like, is it really different enough from Hades 1 for me to like really want to play through Hades or Hades again? Yeah, sort of the COD aspect of higher time to kills, or sorry, quicker time to kills, yeah, for sure. Typically, like when you got instantly killed in Battlefield 3, it was from something broken like frag shotguns. All right, up we go. We got old Half-Life reference. The elevator. These fucking crates, man, there's so goddamn many of them. That's something I mentioned too. So like, I mentioned a few things to them like a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago. The first thing was that like, yeah, I do think Tunnels is taking up too much time in relation to other maps, like overall proportion-wise. The second thing I mentioned was that, like, I do think overall people are spending too much time in looting screens right now. That was kind of my actual, like, one of my actual, I put it under, like, mediocre or concerns or like that for my video. But, like, the looting in Arc Raiders didn't feel all that great. It felt overly abundant. Like, I was able to run into a very, like, I think like what the main dam area, the center of the map, or like that on the playtest map of Arc Raiders, like loot a bunch of shit really quickly and then leave with like no contests at all, basically between PvE and PvE. Like there was robots outside, but inside the building they weren't there. There was like one boom bot I had to kill. But no, like I do think that like I think overabundance or like clear overabundance, like you kind of learn in Tarkov that there's certain crates or certain containers that are just like not worth your time, generally speaking. Like if you're not looking for something in a file cabinet, you skip file cabinets, right? Or you might skip crates here and there because you know they're not in good spots. Like you learn what's worthwhile and what's not, and what you should loot and what you shouldn't loot, so you can save time looting wise, right? Like for example, on like customs or dorms, right? By and large, when you're going to customs dorms, unless you're going to marked room, you're not really usually looting dorms. You're going to dorms to do an objective, and then you're leaving. Yeah, them not being random though actually kind of helps in a way too, right? Like they're pseudo-random, like they're not pure random, but they're like, I mean, they're like, they have loot pools, right? And so do these have, like, these containers have loot pools too, right? It's just that the loot pools are to the container, which they use across, like, every map. And so it's like, if you're gonna loot for loot, you should just loot every container, basically. Yeah, well, like in Tarkov though, you do kind of learn what containers might have what loot, just from the visuals of them too. Like you know that jackets will be like the part of the jacket like loot key pool or like loot pool is keys, right? So you know like if you're looking for keys, you might want to loot jackets, and then keys won't be prevalent anywhere else. And you kind of have that with like medical crates and loot crates in here, but like the loot crates are almost too generic, right? They should probably be branched out more, or just like, I don't know, the looting in this game is a bit too like much right now.
This is it.
Like, sure, part of extraction shooters is looting, but it shouldn't, like, it should be the reward for doing something, not like the commonplace thing you do constantly. Okay, yep, that felt great. Good old stagger. Everything is a-okay. Nothing wrong at all. Nothing's hurt. I said nothing's hurt. Stop hitting. Lead. Let me lead. Jesus, game. This fucking tile set is the worst, dude. It is such a fucking death trap coming from this direction. And like, it's not like you, I guess like the best spot is just to fight before you mantle here. Because you can't really fight on that. You have to like, yeah, you were like forced to fight behind this basically. I guess if you were far away, you could snipe, but like that feels precarious. All right, that was scary. Marijuana, yeah, it's been a bug in the game for like at least 6 months, if not longer.
Everyone for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I disagree. Pistols, are actually quite useful in Tarkov. There are plenty of pistols you can use for budget runs, or just like, well, okay, maybe I haven't played Tarkov recently. I can't speak to Arena at all. But one of my favorite runs to do, budget runs to do back in like OG Tarkov, like 0.6, 0.7, was to bring in a TT. Like you would, yeah, like 5.7s, yeah, like 5.7's a great fucking pistol. Cause it uses the 5.7 cartridge, which is just great for doming people in the head and killing them. But like back in the day, like you would just do budget runs with TTs, where like, no, you know, well that's the beauty of Tarkov. Like it's why like I'm somewhat concerned about, like, one of my concerns for Arc Raiders, right, is like, is there going to be a gear disparity issue? Are you gonna have issues where once the grinders get bored and they want to start pug stomping, they're gonna start bringing in really good gear to pugs and start hunting out newer players or shittier players, and they're gonna get gear checked? Because that's the beauty of Tarkov, is that happens in Tarkov too, right? You're gonna get gear checked in Tarkov occasionally, but unless they're gonna wear a helmet, that basically means they can't fucking hear, they're gonna be domable in the head. That was always the beauty of Tarkov, right? Is if a Chad player gets too fucking cocky, a shotgun or a pistol to the face will still put them down. And they know that too, right? In the sense that, like, they would have to play around it or be cheeky, and they'll still win the fights more often than not. But, like, it's different from, like, the Cycle Frontier, where it was like they have no risk at all. Like, it is just they're gonna go fucking pug stomp you because their gear is so much better than yours. You have no chance of beating their TTK. And, like, that's the beauty of, like, low caliber pistols too, right? You can fucking, I have killed some PMCs with fucking Makarovs before, dude. It is satisfying. Granted, you really should use a Makarov if you can help, because Makarovs are just fucking the worst pistol. But, like, I have won some very fun fights by bringing some really shitty pistols. Especially considering there's that one quest too, where it's like kill three PMCs with pistols. And it's pretty early on too, right? So it's like, you know, get a pistol, go to factory, grind it out. And sometimes there'll be factory players with not shit gear on. It's insanely satisfying, like, basically wearing nothing and being a hatchling with a pistol, and just to dome someone geared in the head and take all their shit. So goddamn satisfying. I could probably loot you. Plenty of power cells, at least. By the time I actually get access to crafting, I'm gonna be able to make so many goddamn fast travel drones. I have so many power cells and motors at this point, I feel like. There you go, full HP. Right before using an extract. No, but like, that's why I like the TT a lot in Tarkov, because the TT was like accurate enough where you could actually snipe at decent ranges. So my usual play pattern, like early on in like earlier versions of Tarkov, was like go to customs, bring a TT, snipe a scav at long range with a TT, take their shit, and just play like a scavenger run with the PMC. Nice, Monkey Man. I'm happy for you. Not jealous at all. I don't want machine parts. Machine parts are actually overrated. You don't really want machine parts. They're actually, if you have machine parts, they're a sign that you're not very good at the game. The game is giving you handouts. Everyone knows you just never get machine parts. I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, being able to craft would be nice, but it's not the end of the world. My main account can still craft. Am I just running through this map? I actually haven't done a ton of looting this on the, I think, post-content patch at the actual site. Let's go to this site. This is Frozen Swamp. This is the best bespoke map in the game. And it's not even close.
Whittle them down and we can break out.
Hold on. Hold on. Now come back. Oh god, no. I have no qualms with the water people right now. I don't have the quest for it. Kinda wish I did have the quest for it. But I'm just passing through. Though I will stop at the injector site. I haven't looted that before, I don't think, on post tunnels. It's not that I can recall. Yeah, I think skill expression's an important part of gameplay for most games. learning how to match with the game, whether that be PvP or PvE. I don't think it's important for everyone, but like it is a pretty normal like expression in games, or normal part of games. I wasn't gonna go that way, Dust, but I can. That way, if I die, it's all your fault. I can displace all responsibility on you. Why is there coffee in there? All right. Seems about normal so far in regards to loot. Yeah, tunnels look really cool. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, and here's the thing too: the biggest thing about tunnels is not necessarily about tunnels themselves, but the underlying system they provide, right? For like doing like smaller, bespoke content in the future. Okay, I might have made a mistake. I might have should have killed the turrets. There's so many fucking turrets here. Leave me alone. It's not full procedural. Each tunnel has 4 variants basically. And it changes daily, but it only changes, I believe, after you die on that day. So let's say, for example, you get like Tunnel A variant 1. Like if you play again the next day, you'll still be on that variant until you die. At which point it will change. I believe that's how it works. I could be wrong, but I believe that's how they mentioned it works. Caravans is 1.2, but like in the sense of 2, like when I'm getting out with bespoke maps before I got interrupted by getting murdered, is that like, let's say for example, they want to do a small little dungeon or a small, like, say for example, they want to do a cemetery. Let's say, or a Babel, right? Let's say if they want to do a small little map that might not be worthy of a full-fledged map, they can make it like a one-off, like, you know, location off the side of one of these paths too, right? Or for example, too, like one of the things I want them to do, is that like, say for example, like the bunker on Ashen Mesa. I understand why they could not do the bunker on Ashen Mesa as part of Ashen Mesa. Like, I get that. That makes sense to me. Like, you know, it gets very complex very quickly when you start doing stuff like that. I understand. But what they can do is they can put an extract on Mesa for you to have you go in the bunker under Mesa. And so that could be its own little dungeon, right, under Mesa. And you would go between Mesa and the dungeon, and then go from the dungeon to back to Mesa, or maybe you can find alternate extract back to the tunnels. And I think when they mentioned in the patch notes about nighttime, I think they meant like literal nighttime, like overnight, like as a part of a daily reset, which is, I know, definitely confusing considering they use nighttime as an actual mechanic also in game. It is. I can understand the confusion. I think in this instance, though, they were talking about, like, literal nighttime. Like, overnight, like IRL. Alright, I'm definitely gonna use the elevator down, because fuck the staircase of death. I'm running out of bullets. Yeah, at least that's what I understand, is it's literal nighttime. It's a daily reset. It's a daily reset sort of thing. What's with the fucking drone factory? Alright, my ride's here. Fuck you guys. I'm going home. Leave me alone! Yeah, that's a pretty common lodge complaint. We'll have to see what they do. All right, let's go see if we got a sound on the bridge now. God, my stamina is not very good anymore. Actually, hold on, I can fix this with drugs. All right, Mr. Bridge. Or are you gonna have sound? While I'm here. Yeah, why not a drill? I have bad news. It's still silent. Considering how slow the bridge is too, it need to be a long sound effect. I mean, it could just repeat also, but it takes like a solid like a minute or two for that bridge to actually fully lower. The way I kind of put in my post about it was that I would much prefer, like, so you go to the tunnels in Esco and you leave through any extract of the tunnels and it takes you to a scav camp for that section of the map. So let's say, for example, section A is Tunnels A, Ashen Mesa, and Scorched Enclave. So from Tunnels A, you go from inner to Tunnels A, you go to scav camp, and at scav camp you can choose to do any of the maps on Tunnel A, or in Section A, or go to Tunnels B. And let's say, for example, you go do Scorched Enclave and come back to the scav camp. So you go scav camp, Scorched Enclave, back to scav camp. You can choose to go back to Scorched Enclave, Mesa, Tunnels B, or back to Tunnels A, maybe we're back to the inners. I'm not really sure. Personally, I would want the journey back to be a thing. I understand why that's definitely not a thing right now, because it would be way too much time in tunnels. But I am curious if there's like a way to make sure players are out and about doing stuff enough where their incentive. Actually, we should just go back. I think we're so full at this point. I'm curious if we can get to the point where, like, actually having the return trip be okay. It's definitely one of those things where I understand why it's not a thing and might not ever be a thing, because it might be too much. Well, the main purpose of the scav camps actually of, like, say, having like, so it would be Tunnels A to like scav camp A, and you go to Scorched Enclave, Ashen Mesa, or Tunnels B, right? And like the main thing is it provides an area for players to rejoin, for players to go save and take a break. Because like think of this way, say for example, you if you cannot pause in the game, which is currently the case, like you cannot escape and pause the game. You can do some mods or some cheats to actually let you pause, but by default, you cannot pause the game if you're in the raid. So that means kind of when you're going from tunnels A to tunnels D to like downtown, you don't have a lot of downtime, right? You have to play consecutively back to back. And having these little rest areas in between gives you a clear area to like actually log out at, to actually log in at, to have players join you at, if they get DC'd or died or so on and so forth. Because like right now, let's say for example, like you have some friends you're playing with and you're like, let's go from tunnels A to downtown. And let's say one of your friends dies in tunnel B. At no point can they rejoin you. They're just fucked if they fully die. And you can't pick them up, right? So like, what are you supposed to do at the point? Are you supposed to like basically say like, okay, I guess we're in tunnels B, so we can't go straight back to the innards from here, right? Maybe they added it, maybe they fixed it, but like you know, you're in tunnels B. So now we need to go play a map and then go back to the innards to get you again and run it back again. Like it just creates this really awkward experience for people who are just trying to play together. So having some intermediate camp to let like allow you to do game-oriented tasks like joining, disconnecting, saving. Yes, John, basically. No, not basically, literally. Alright, did we find machine parts at all? Checkpoints kind of do, but not really. They're kind of... They are like in the least, like they're like the lesser form of it to like the highest extent, basically. They don't let you like blood, like if a player dies, rejoin you. I believe when you use them, you can't do it as everyone, it can only be you. So like, I'm not sure this is exactly how it works. If you use a scav checkpoint as a group, everyone gets the checkpoint, but the party is disbanded. It is, I think, the easiest solution they had access to considering time constraints. All right, so we'll just run it back again. We actually have money for a pack meal now. I could just go buy a pack meal. I did sell those codexes earlier. So a bunch of, is it, yeah, so it's bottom left, bottom right, top, high quality, large. And I believe the rest are mediums. Just make sure. I think that's everything. If not, I'll just buy more. Oh, we need top left, top right. Okay. Wait. There, do we have everything? Okay, there we do. Yeah, and the question I think, John, is like I haven't played co-op since Tunnels came out, so like if you're playing Tunnels and you go use a checkpoint in a group, I think the way it works is it disbands the group and then you all get the scav checkpoint. But I don't think there's a way for you guys to natively rejoin without going back to the innards. Once again, if someone else has done this before, please let me know, because I'm not actually exactly sure how it works, but like, that's the way it sounded to me, like how it works. But I do not know that to be a fact. All right. Let's go on through. Yeah, that's what I figured, right? You can't join someone who's not in the innards. So like it creates this like very weird long gameplay loop for like people who might need to take breaks or be off and on or just, yeah.
Just one more run. Just one more run.
And the biggest thing is too is like is you can have like I think overarching gear fear perhaps of like the stuff in your scav checkpoints, these surface level checkpoints are not things that you have in your innards, right? They are not inherently safe. And so that can cause a fear of its own. Essentially, like it makes you feel like, you know, almost like baseball, right? Of like these weird areas where like you are not safe, right? You're not out, but you're not safe either. All right. I've been going over this way a few times. Let's go this way instead. Let's go to the right. I'm now definitely convinced canon-wise that these skulls are 3D printed skulls. I think the night shift comes down here and is like, you know, there's a severe lack of skulls down here. So let's print out some skulls and add some skulls to the sewers or the tunnels. I hear drones. And then the walls might be actually yeah, they're on the walls. We're good. I believe this is the weird tile we need to go actually up over here instead. So if you're a newer player, Pink, they're consecutive. So for example, you would go tunnels A. You can see these little like square areas on top of your radar, your compass here. Those are your extracts. And you would go and approach those. It might not be like a straight linear path, right? Like you need to figure out the path and go around and figure out exactly how to get there. But these will take you to one of the maps, right? For example, I believe this one will take me to Scorched Enclave. And so Scorched Enclave will give me an option of either going back to the innards or going to Tunnels B. And then Tunnels B will either take me to Elephant, Scrapyard, or Mech Trench. And then those maps extracts will be either the innards or to Tunnel C. And you have to run it sequentially, right? There are ways to fast travel eventually, if you're a newer player. But for the first part of it, you do need to unlock the maps or locations first.
Gotta keep a record in the event of my death.
No problem. Yeah, going Scorch. We did Mesa before, and I feel like just want to see if I can find some, I want to see if I can get lucky. I just want some stuff, man. You know what I want. I know what I want. Yeah, it's bug spray. Are they implying that there's bugs in this setting? In the Forever Winter, there's bugs? Like actual factual bugs? I haven't seen any bugs. But I've not seen any bugs yet, though. Unless we're referring to the drones. More bug spray. What mosquitoes? I haven't seen any mosquito. If you're gonna have a post-nuclear setting with roaches and mosquitoes, where are the rad roaches? Where are the giant mosquitoes? Everyone knows when you have radiation, the insects get big. Come on, that's common game trope 101. Radiation makes things bigger. Hello, Merkava. I mean, I know we're kind of memeing here, but I would love to see, like, actually, I feel like the credit currency is kind of lame.
Fill those pockets quick.
I would love to see a non-credit currency. Like, even something as, like, it can just be faction script, right? I don't know, just something that's not as, like, generic as credits. Come on, baby. Give me. God damn it. I just want one thing, okay? Hey. Why are you shooting? Yeah, I mean, you could break it down to consumables too if you want to do more bartering. I think I can understand why they wouldn't lean into a full bartering because it would get very complex very quickly. But like, I could just, if they wanted to keep it pretty high level and pretty like relatively simple, I think faction script is a good way of doing it. Like the idea of a full barter economy would be fucking dope, but like I can understand like it's a lot of work to make that balance and actually work. But like, considering these factions are at war, to have like universal credits be a thing just feels kind of weird. And I'm not saying you can still have some barters, right? But you can't really like be pure barter based. Because by and large, you know, pure barter-based economies do come up with fiat currencies or currencies to help facilitate trade, right? Like, that's how money gets created. Like, you know, coins, basically, because, like, sometimes the person who wants to sell corn doesn't want to fucking buy or barter for your product, but they still want to sell their corn. What the clusterfuck is going on over there? I mean, maybe sugar, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it rationalizes why the different factions all use the same currency system.
Bible is an option. We're very lucky with the patrols.
All right. Come on, you can do it, game. Give it to me. Come on. Come on. God damn it. Not... I've fallen before in tunnels, but I don't think in the tubing sections. I think the few times I've died in tunnels from fall damage has mainly been from me just missing something like really simple. Like, the staircases, basically. I have been knocked off before by exos, but, like, it wasn't from me just missing the jump. I can't recall having missed the jump before in tunnels, but I maybe am forgetting. Let's go to Russell and Frozen Swamp. So caps? I think I found nuts and bolts already. I think I'm just missing the other item. Yeah, there's a patrol I gotta be careful about. Yeah, you're right. There was caps, there's NCR dollars, there was like the Caesar. Yeah, each faction have their own currency. Yeah.
We decide what happens next.
Leave me alone. I'm pretty sure this is a dead end anyway. Yeah. Yeah, it tracks.
Enemy contact. Where? You got some sort of plan?
They call it cleaner, but what they should really call it is bleach. Because who doesn't love some good old bleach? Did you know that in Project Zomboid, bleach is the cure if you get bit? The more you know. It's a very missed part of Project Zomboid. Fuji is the secret bleach trick. Yeah, I genuinely think by the time I actually get the crafting online, I'm gonna be able to make so many fucking fast travel drones. I have literally everything but the ability to craft them. Potentially. I do think the metal scraps probably are the, I do believe it's probably, like, a bit... I do not think the thing that we're currently constrained on is probably intentionally as rare as it is. Alright, what map do you go to? Missing stairway? Or are we on tunnels B right now? We might be on B. Yeah, we're on B. Oh, another night shift.
Hard to breathe up here. But the mask helps.
Am I trying to do anything on this map in particular other than just fucking get the hell out? I guess we can loot around a little bit. Dog? Yeah, no dog. Now, I don't have a ton of ammo here.
Everyone for themselves.
We gotta be a little careful. There's Druskuns here? What the hell? That's new. Yeah, but like, I wouldn't... Yes and no. Like, I can get it in 3 hours. Doesn't necessarily mean the new player's gonna get it in 3 hours, though. Actually, I can probably get it in about 1.5, maybe 2. If I'm really trying. Especially with tunnels grinded. It's not bad, but it's not great either, just because, like, tunnels requires some pretty decent movement from newer players, and tunnels is like actually kind of hard for newer players to. It's not a great playground for locomotion, because it's like it can be kind of hard to learn like the basics of movement in this game, and also be told to apply that to a map. I might just we'll actually do some loading on this map. Yeah, I would probably say to have plug pull on you if you're probably going this deep, just because it force spawns some of your opens to fight in that area. Alright, please no more cyborgs. I'm probably pretty close to HKs right now, and I would rather not have HKs on this map. It is just endless fucking cyborgs. Like, it's endless cyborgs by itself. It doesn't need to be improved by HKs. I said it doesn't need to be improved by HKs. I feel like you guys are not engaging in active listening right now. I said no HK. And then you do this to me. Probably not. I might do Lordos. But it's definitely like one of those things where it's not my primary concern right now. I hope that we see alternate things to use for the items in Bunko's quest. Because I do enjoy Bunko's quest line, it's just that I don't really need railgun parts, because I don't really give a shit about the railgun. I should probably just leave. I would say, Blood, if you just run Mech Trench ad nauseum, it's probably harder now considering, you know, tunnels. But just like pick up plug pull and just farm your opens on Mech Trench. The end of the quest line for Lordos is going to be setting up a farm inside of your innards to grow tobacco. Not food, not anything useful, just tobacco. Hey Arcturus, how's it going?
Gotta keep a record in the event of my death.
What the hell are things hidden? Pick, no, you do not get, I don't believe you get more HP after 25 now, but there is an upgrade now for your innards that will give you extra HP. And so you can have like the max HP from level 25 and then have more HP from your innards upgrade. Yeah, you can't really farm, like, yeah, you can't spam farm scrapyard like you could before for the brawler components. Thankfully, you can occasionally see brawlers in the tunnels, so it's not the end of the world, I think. They're rare, but they do spawn. So many motos. I probably won't go to downtown because I have a lot of good shit, I feel like. Gotten a few motors so far. Let's go this way. That does a pretty good job, I would say, keeping the illusion up. Is it over here where it breaks, I think, maybe? Let me go see over here. Oh, maybe they fixed it a bit. That's a pretty good job of keeping the illusion up, actually. I think before this might have been a void, and maybe they actually closed it off. Let's wait for you guys.
Eyes on us. Spread out.
Did I win? All right, I won. No, up? Yeah, okay. I think this is a way up too, so this should work. Ow.
Taking fire.
I like how like deadly that looks, and it does like a little tickle to you. Very, very nice. I appreciate not instantly dying to that. All right, what map we get in here? We are getting... oh, fuck me. Oh. This is a nice surprise.
Chosen another exit.
I'm okay with this.
Don't miss. Make every shot count.
Hold on. Man, 9mm is truly a labor of love. It genuinely feels like you were just choosing the hard path by using 9mm guns. See how easy that was? Go away. I've done it before, Fuji. That's usually what I would actually do, is go tunnel to downtown. This is Night Shift Stairway Gate. It is a variant of Stairway Gate you might see once in a blue moon. If you do like pretty fast runs, Federico, I mean Fuji, you can get to downtown in like about 15 to 20 minutes. Once you know the layouts of the tunnels.
Whittle them down.
Yeah, elfing can be kind of rough if you don't know the spawns. The trench lines feel like they're safe, but weirdly they're like the worst place to be. Like you actually just do not want to be in the trench lines.
Enemy density indicates
It is way safer outside of them. Hi, Mom.
this is it. What happens next?
Oh, Moms. Jesus Christ. Progressive.
Enemy density indicates tracking.
Yeah, we are officially basically out of 762 ammo now. Which means we're probably on the melee train as opposed to shooting train. Our 9mm SMG is not silenced.
Whittle them down and we can break.
I would love, there we go, 762. There we go. Oh, huge. We have ammo again. Are they really 15 round, 20 round? Yeah, 20 rounders, okay. Alright, on we go. I feel like... Hey. I mean, I guess the spikes explain it, right? But I feel like they were definitely... Oh my god, fucking Scrambler's bad. My god, hey. Calm down. I feel like that pile should be definitely descending down this hill. Alright, everyone, enjoy the rain while it lasts. I doubt they ever do this, but it would be cool though. Imagine if they actually do like tunnel segments where it's like raining basically from like the water from the surface coming down. Yeah, we're going back to the innards because we have
Waking
lots
up
of
in a
stuff.
year.
I don't think all that much, actually. We just found quite a few motors I want to keep. Yeah, not a whole lot. I probably could have looted more of the tunnels, but like, I don't know. How are we doing on motors? I'm curious. I have 21 power cells, which I think it's 3. If I recall, I think it's 3 power cells per fast travel drones. That's at least 7 fast travel drones there. I believe it's only 1 motor per drone. Wherever they may be. Got 3 there. Where are my motors at? I have 18 motors. So yeah, I'm constrained by power cells, not motors. So I might need to use these for crafting or like making other things. So I have at least 7 fast travel drones I can make basically on the spot, I believe, once I get it up and running. So I will have an abundance after I get that unlocked. But I believe we are still missing our machine parts. But I guess we'll try again next stream, because that will be it for today. I probably won't be streaming tomorrow. I'll be streaming on probably Saturday instead, or maybe Sunday, but probably Saturday instead. Trying to get 2 or 3 a week, and we'll see how that goes. I probably won't be streaming Arc Raiders right off the rip. I'm gonna see how it probably lands and see how it plays out a bit after launch and go from there, but I'll probably pick it up eventually just for funsies. Other than that, take it easy guys, I'll see you guys later. Probably patch early next week too, so we'll see how that goes, and I will catch you all later.